and welcome to Active Insights with Katia. I'm your host Katia, I'm a dietetic student at Surrey, and this is the first episode we're actually doing recorded where you guys are actually sat with me, because normally this is just done voice only, and I decided that this year we're going to change things up, because why don't we just talk like I'm on FaceTime while I tell you all about what I've learned recently, what maybe I've learned in uni, lessons that I've overcome, any questions you guys have, because I'm always answering them on Instagram. So today I actually wanted to talk about Christmas time, food, movement, being with family. And I am wearing a really nice jumper today, but I am covering it up because it is so freaking cold right now. I literally couldn't. I got in the car and you could just see everything through my shirt. You could see everything through my shirt. So I decided, let's not do that. So I guess that's just a quick update on the podcast and how I want it to evolve. To be completely honest right now, this isn't even a microphone. This is lip gloss. And I've stuck it in here because my camera is attached to the microphone, but I just thought it looks more natural doing something. So I really hope you can see me all right, because the lighting is really not it today. The sun is nowhere to be seen. My vitamin D is not happening inside of me right now. But we're going to stop with the yapping and actually get into the episode. So why did I want to make this time? So I feel like Christmas is really different this year. Maybe it's because we are just decorating today, like we haven't really gotten in the Christmas spirit yet. Maybe it's because I'm growing up and the childhood kind of magic is slightly going away, even though even as an adult I'm still here for Christmas. I think Christmas is definitely my favourite holiday. I used to say Halloween, but I think I've just grown up now and now Christmas is it. I cannot wait to have my own place and decorate it how I want and have a theme, my own Christmas tree and all that jazz, because I'm not a massive fan of getting a natural tree. I'd rather have a fake tree and reuse it, but my family are more into having the natural tree. So just all little things like that. I can make my own decisions now that I'm becoming more independent, which is exactly what my main YouTube channel is about, in case you found me over here. And on top of that, it's not just me who's grown up, it's also my family. So I have a younger sister. She's just turned 18, which I've also vlogged in my YouTube channel. And the fact that she's 18 still hasn't really fathomed in my brain. Like even last night I was lying in bed and she'd gone out to a party. I was thinking, oh my god, I hope she's alright. She's an adult now. I don't really have to like parent her. Even though growing up, I'm literally 2 years older than her, yeah? I used to like parent her even though I was like 12. I feel like as an older sibling it's just something that you get. But even that, I think it's just changed the dynamic of Christmas. And we're more logistical. Me and my friend are actually going on holiday. I'm not even going with my family this time. I haven't even seen my parents since I've come home because they've been in London. I think it's very normal for things to change and evolve, but that can still be scary, especially when you're in your 20s and the world is just changing so damn rapidly. Like even 10 years ago, the world is just a whole different place. And I think that's just something I'm kind of realising and I wanted to speak about. But even though this episode is more centred around food and body and movement, because that's something I personally struggled with, especially growing up, that change in routine can really trigger that, which is exactly what we're going to talk about today. But something else I wanted to mention is this is also the time of year where everyone's reflecting on their progress and what they've done and all the achievements they made and what they've ticked off their vision. And even though I made a vision board video last week, which you can watch now, I didn't achieve like half of my vision board. And that's not because, you know, I can't be successful or it's not in the cards for me. It's literally because your progress isn't visible day to day. And I think we make a lot more progress than we think. And an exercise I really want you to try is to just go through your camera roll and scroll up to the top this year and look back at everything you've done this year. You've done so damn much. I bet you've travelled. I bet you met a bunch of new people. I bet you got better grades than you thought you did. And even if you failed your GCSEs, even if you had to retake your A-levels, which, yeah, I get it, okay? I was getting C's and D's for years and years, comparing myself to everybody else in my school. You are still making progress, even if you don't see it on the day-to-day. Everything you're doing, every single action you're taking is creating more clarity into where you need to be. I'm trying to avoid using the word alignment, because for me it just screams ChatGPT, and that's something else that's really been irritating me recently. Not just on social media, but on the day-to-day. Everyone and their dog is using chat, and there's nothing wrong. I'm a chat advocate, okay? I love chat. I've even got the pro version. But I do not use it for anything that needs to come from me, because I feel like when things aren't you coded, no wonder you're going to feel so disconnected from yourself. I felt the most disconnected from who I was, from my audience, from my channel, from what I want to do in life, because I was constantly using chat and other people, not even just ChatGPT, like my parents or my friends, to like direct me into where I need to go. You need to start trusting yourself. You need to start making those decisions, because clarity and confidence only comes from action, not from what everyone else thinks you should be doing or their opinions. Remember, people are only basing things off their fears rather than what they think is best for you, because people can only talk about from their experience. That's why I never claim to be a guru or to know it all, because I can only talk from the experiences I've had. I can't then give advice on things that I've never lived through. But it's just a quick reminder that your progress is not measured in a day, it's not measured in a week, it's not measured even in a year. Think about 1 year is actually not like that much time, and if you think your life is going to completely change in 1 year, that isn't true. Even in my recovery, when I gained a lot of weight, that took like 3 years for me to get to a place now where I'm actually comfortable and my body is stable with where I'm at. Like for the first year, 2 years, I was so uncomfortable. I was so in the unknown. I thought I was doing the wrong thing all the time. Now I look back, I'm like, I'm so glad I went through all that, because I would not be here today if I didn't. It takes so much longer than you think. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, okay? And neither is your success, neither is your manifestations, neither is your progress. It's the day-to-day actions and the fact that you keep going even when you don't see results. But I also want to talk about the difference between that and insanity, because I know people say, well, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and you still don't get any different results. You can't expect to do one thing different and your entire life will change. It don't work like that, because we also need to have patience. And I've made a whole video about patience because I am the least patient person you will ever meet. Like, my patience has gotten better, but oh my god, my parents can definitely advocate for this. I am literally like, we said we're going to leave at 10 and now it's 10:03. Even getting my driving license, like, I was honestly, it took me a month, and that was the longest month of my entire life. And that's taken me time to actually learn that you have to sit and wait for things to compound to actually get better before you see results. Now we're going to swiftly move on to another topic, which is food around the holidays. Now the reason I want to talk about this is because I struggled, and to be honest, some days I still overeating at the holidays and indulging a bit much in your body and not feeling great. Even last Christmas, I definitely binge ate. Not to the same extent I did the Christmas before. This year, I've actually not had this problem whatsoever because I've done all this healing, which I'm about to talk about. So starting off with the reason we're binge eating at Christmas, it's because at Christmas, yeah, we've got different foods. They're yummy foods. It's a time where indulgence is celebrated. People are drinking champagne at 8 a.m. in the morning when they're opening presents. People are eating chocolate for breakfast. And you know what? That's okay. I'm a dietetic student. I study nutrition and food as my degree. And I'm telling you it's okay. Why? Because it's one day in the entire year. But this also does not mean that this one day is the only day we can eat chocolate, or the only day we can have, pigs and blankets or whatever, because that's what's going to cause you to binge eat on it. If you tell yourself, I can only have McDonald's on Christmas, of course you're going to eat the entire damn McDonald's menu. If you tell yourself, I can have McDonald's tomorrow, the day after, next week, 2 weeks from now, you're not going to binge on it because your brain knows that it's there all the time. This is actually what I like to call a scarcity mindset, because when you have a scarcity mindset around food, of course you're going to want to have it all in one go. And this is why I used to binge on Christmas, because it was the only day of the year I'd allow myself, to have chocolate or to drink or to have like bread. Like, I had bread yesterday like 4 times, and you know what? It's fine. Even if some days in the week I overeat a little bit, I think it's better for me to do that than to binge eat it all on the weekend. And that's also why I gained a hell of a lot of weight even after I'd recovered or reached a healthy weight, because I was still in this mindset of, I want to look a certain way, I can't gain too much weight, I can't eat these foods, this isn't healthy, I don't see influencers eating this, and then I'd binge eat on it, because it's like, of course your brain's going to think like, what the hell, she's not going to be able to eat this tomorrow, let's do it all now. It's a slight survival instinct. But I do want to mention about Christmas that even if you do overeat, which you might not, it doesn't actually matter. Your body has what's called energy balance. I'm not going to go through the entire, it's your rest BMR, and then your TEE, and then your XX, because we all know that. We've all seen people online do it. I ain't going to go through that. I am going to go through what I've learned in my course degree, which I'm literally paying 10 grand a year for. Let's not even talk about the price of university right now. So your body will want to be in energy balance. So when you overeat a little bit, maybe a few hundred calories or whatever, your body will subconsciously burn that off for you. You'll probably have a higher heart rate. You'll probably subconsciously be moving around more. Your muscles might be tensing or twitching a bit more, and you will actually excrete more energy than normal because you're only doing this 1 or 2 days out of this week. When it's every day for a longer period of time, that's when we get what's called overeating. Equally, if you're eating too late at night and you're not allowing yourself to sort of fast slightly, I'm not talking about intermittent fasting, I'm just talking around 7 p.m. if people stop eating, around 4 a.m. you'll reach that fasting state, which is actually very healthy for your body. But you could obviously do this a bit later as well. I'm not encouraging people to, starve themselves overnight. I'm just saying that we are constantly in a postprandial state, which means that we're constantly in the state of we've just eaten. As humans, we seem to always be eating when actually that's not really how we're built. So I do kind of stop eating around 7 p.m. Not every time, like tonight we've got a dinner booked for 8. So I'm going to be eating after 7 p.m. Again, it's just having that flexibility and not beating yourself up when you don't always stick to that schedule. But talking about the guilt around that, how to push through the guilt is literally just to go through it and accept that you're going to feel a bit guilty, but that guilt guilt doesn't necessarily make it true. Just because you're thinking something doesn't make it fact. We all know that our thoughts aren't always correct, and just because you're having this thought that's creating an emotion doesn't mean you A, have to listen to it, and B, it makes it real, because it doesn't. I really want you to take this season as a dial rather than a switch, because your health will not be made or broken in 1 month. Every single day in the morning, I'm eating a piece of chocolate from my advent calendar. That's okay. It's also all right to have weight fluctuations. Like recently, I have gained a bit more weight than maybe I would like to. And I'm not beating myself up for it, because I know it's temporary. And when you accept that everything is temporary and you're not going to be like this in a few months, your life will constantly change. Maybe in the spring, summer, you'll be moving around. That is just life. Life is constantly full of fluctuation. And it took me 5 whole years to get to this place. And the reason I'm sharing this in such a kind of blunt way is because I wish I had someone there to just shake me and be like, look, this is so temporary. Like, this is not going to be your entire life. This season will end at some point, and you need to enjoy every single moment of it. Obviously not binge or think it's never going to come back, but just enjoy being around the people that you love and using food as a part of that rather than the whole celebration. The whole Christmas, I would just think like, when are we going to eat? When's Christmas dinner? When can I have some chocolate? When can I have... That's not what Christmas is about. Yes, food is a part of Christmas because it brings people together, but it is not the whole point of Christmas. Christmas is about being with people you love, being with yourself, off with rest, with gifts, with giving to other people, with messaging the people maybe you haven't spoken to in a while. That is what Christmas is about. It's not about the food, really not. In fact, the food is probably one of the most least interesting parts of it. Yes, it's yummy. Yes, it's delicious. Yes, it's a part of coming together. But the food itself should not be overtaking all the relationships. You can actually argue that on Christmas, relationships are more important than just the food you're eating, because there's actually research to show that when you have closer, deeper relationships, it actually increases the longevity of your life more than purely just eating healthy food. Of course, nutrition and nourishment is so important. Again, I am studying this and I'll be working in a hospital telling people what to eat for their health with a degree. So like, I get it. But I also understand the importance of having healthy relationships. And if food is stopping you doing that, that is a bigger problem than you just eating the salad on Christmas, for example. And also not to compare yourself to people on social media. I used to, again, compare myself a lot to people, especially influencers when I was in that niche, who maybe just ate 1 chocolate on Christmas or would have like 3 potatoes. Babe, I'm eating the potatoes and the bread sauce and the baguette and the whatever else is going to be on that table, okay? One of the things about influencers is that they can post what they want you to see. If I occasionally post a what I eat in a day, I actually forget to film half the stuff I eat. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the other day, I think I had a mince pie with my friend, and I, like, didn't even clock that I had to film it. And I was like, by the way, I had a mince pie because I just didn't film it. Like, that's the thing. Like, influencers show you what they want to show you, and even if they only eat 1 chocolate, you know, they could be binging behind closed doors. Last year I was binging behind closed doors. Nobody knew. Everyone thought I was absolutely fine, and I didn't lie to people because I was just withholding the truth because of shame and guilt. And this year I've been so open, even when I do binge eat. Like, I had a few slip up around June time, I think it was, because I went on holiday and I had like more pizza, and then I've kind of thought, oh well, F it, I've eaten all this now. And now I'm very open about it because I understand the struggle, and I get that more people struggle with it than we think. And I think binge eating of food is just a coping mechanism for other things happening in our life. So whether it be a scarcity mindset, whether it be thinking we're not good enough, whether it be struggles with our body image. Moving away from food and more into body image topic, you might feel a bit uncomfortable around Christmas also because there might be more awareness of how you're feeling and how you're looking because of the food you're eating, rather than it purely being about your body. And weight actually means nothing, because recently I've actually quite liked my body, and I've been like, oh, you're looking toned, you're gaining some muscle, I can see some arm definition popping through. I step on the scales and it's like 2 kilograms heavier, and I'm like, what happened? But then weight and the way you look really is uncorrelated. I look better now than I did when I was 5 kilograms lighter. It literally means nothing. So please do not justify your body off your weight or think lower is better or compare yourself to other people, because again, when it's you versus you, and it's honestly wasting time you could be spending literally doing anything else that could actually be helping your life. Like, focusing on your weight and how many calories you've eaten and how much salad you've eaten today, or whether you've eaten a piece of chocolate, is time taken away where you could actually be working on yourself and actually be improving the future version of yourself. And that's another thing that I've realised, it's just a time waster thinking about all this stuff. When you are aware of what you're eating and you are actually quite health conscious, which if you're listening to this, you probably are, you will do it intuitively regardless. You'll find on Christmas you don't want to overeat because you are aware of your body and what makes you feel good and the fact that you can have the leftovers tomorrow. It doesn't all need to be done today. Let's talk about movement at the holidays, especially Christmas. Now, around Christmas, as we all know, all the gyms are closed because everyone deserves a break. And I don't want you to feel like you need to compensate in any other way. Around Christmas, I literally just go for some walks. I go on a Christmas walk with my family every single year, especially after the lunch, because we're all feeling a bit bloated and heavy. And it's just nice to just walk and talk with people, especially because we don't always have hard conversations. But there's, again, research to show that when you want to have a hard conversation, if you walk and talk it, it's so much easier to have it than if you're sat down like staring at each other. So sometimes more things just flow out. We make deeper connections. I've definitely become closer with my aunts and my cousins doing that, what we do around Christmas. And again, it's that temporary, it's just a few days off the gym. It's what you do the majority of the time, not the minority of the time. And the only way you will believe it is when you actually do it, because me sitting here telling you that is probably a bit reassuring, but until you actually do it and learn it for yourself, you're not really going to believe me. I think that's just, again, something I've had to learn the hard way. Like, no matter how many times people told me when I was really struggling with my eating disorder, if you eat, you'll be fine, you're not going to gain loads of weight. I didn't believe them. Of course I didn't believe them until I did it, and then I was like, oh, this is what everybody meant. Until you do it, you won't have the evidence against that. But when you actually take action, you think, you know what, this Christmas, I'm going to allow myself to rest. I'm going to allow my body just to chill. I'm going to trust that my body's not going to spiral out of control, because I know logically that is not what's going to happen. And am I going to feel slightly uncomfortable? Yeah, very temporary discomfort for long-term happiness and actually improvement of my. And if you are really struggling, I would recommend doing like a game or just distract yourself, really. Maybe it's watching TikTok, maybe it's watching your favourite Christmas movie, maybe it's doing some arts and crafts, maybe it's baking, maybe it's going to the cinema. Just get yourself away from your body and the food and thinking that everything is all or nothing. And when you actually distract yourself and allow the anxiety to then come down, you'll realise that actually you were just overthinking it all, because again, I used to do this. And the final reminder is, it's okay if your Christmas isn't perfect, okay? Obviously, we want to have a good Christmas. I'm wishing you a good Christmas. I'm sure you all will. I'm manifesting that for you. But if you find that this year wasn't the best Christmas of your life, maybe you had a fight, maybe you did overeat, maybe you did feel really uncomfortable, maybe you have gained weight and you're just feeling really shit in yourself, maybe you haven't reached your manifestation, that's all right. Like, please take the pressure off yourself, because the more you worry about that, the more of that you're going to attract into your life. When you focus on what you actually want and the good, the more good you're going to attract. I've definitely noticed that, especially with not only my body, but also just like my improvement in life. Like, the more I focus on the fact that, oh, I haven't posted this, or I haven't grown here, or oh, I feel like this today, or oh, I haven't been very healthy, the more I'm like that, versus when I think, oh, I've been on it in the gym, I've been so focused on my nutrition, I've been so grinding at uni and been doing so well in all my exams, the more of that I've just attracted, because your subconscious is working for you. You go read The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It was the best book ever. I actually read it when I was in Jersey, which again is a vlog you can go watch, because for some reason I just love having a camera on me 24/7, but I'm glad you can share that with me. Otherwise, I'm wishing you a very, very Merry Christmas. I know there's another episode before that. I really hope you enjoy this setup, because I think it's quite fun to actually like talk together. You can listen to it in the gym, on a walk, in the car, wherever, but at the same time you can watch me having it on FaceTime. Maybe you're cleaning, maybe you're cooking. Don't worry, I do not take offence. Otherwise, I'm wishing you a blessed week. Remember to comment anything you want for the episodes now, because obviously we've got YouTube. You can do the same on Spotify, since this will be uploaded on there. Or you can DM me, because I read pretty much every single DM, especially on Instagram. I really want you to make the most this Christmas. Be so present with yourself as well. And I promise you, it's just going to get better and better. See you later.